So, Lorna, you've shared that as a little girl, God held your hand and walked you through the main house at Sanctuary at Kilfane. Now that the main house has been lovingly and painstakingly restored over the last 4 years, can you let us know what it has been like for you to watch that vision come to life? Was there anything about this journey that truly surprised you, something you didn't expect as Sanctuary became the beacon of hope it is today?
Well, I suppose the first thing I would say would be I am blown away. You know, the main house is finished, and yet there's still so much to do. And I've been on this journey with God, but I wouldn't even call it a journey. I'm just walking with God. I'm walking in God's footsteps. Sometimes He walks ahead of me, and I look down and go in His footsteps in that way. To me, you know, being even out in the forest here, I know here God chose, and it is a beacon of hope for the whole world. And that beacon goes out and across the world. God has shown it to me. It's this massive, how would I say, beam of light that comes from here and goes straight up into the universe. And that beacon sends out other beacons to different parts of the world. And God has shown me those places. And I know I'll be blown away when those places start, you know, but we still have so much that God has shown me that has to be done for here. If you're asking for something special that has touched me, it's everything. It's literally everything. There's no simple answer to that. You know, it's the depths of my soul. My soul, God has put here. He's kept me here. He never allowed me to emigrate to America, you know, but He sends me there. God sends me to different parts of the world at different times. And as a child, He showed me here. I walked in the main house with God. I have walked through the forest with God. We have held hands, and I have walked in God's footsteps as well. To me, all of this is a miracle, but it has nothing to do with me, I always say. It has to do with every living thing that God has created. I'm just giving the message and doing what God has asked me to do. And bringing all the prayers and the requests that people have. So many, it's just so hard to explain. So many things happen here. I just hear the birds. I just enjoy the creation of life. I enjoy that creation that God has made. And I just love, how would I say this, my soul, because I know my soul is that spark of light of God. Everything blows me away. I just say, God, what are you up to? I'm only a mere woman. You know, what do you expect? And God says to me, Lorna, my bird of love, the world must respond. And I just say to God, well, you better wave a magic wand to get the world to respond more. So I have to smile at that, because we want love and peace in the world. We want hope. We want that beacon of light to go everywhere in the world.
Is there a special place on Sanctuary's grounds that you like to slip away to? Perhaps a quiet spot where you go to pray, reflect, or just be still with God and the angels?
Yes, there is, and I'm walking towards it. It's one of my hiding places, just like so many, and it's all around here. It is the peace and the quietness. It's the stillness to be silent and listen and hear God and walking with the angels. I just love this place because it's like God roots me into the earth, into God's creation, into this beautiful planet. And this is where I walk and I pray. And even now, as I'm talking, this is a prayer to God. God hears me. He hears every word, just as He hears you. And sometimes I go on a little bit further. And many a time I might go in here or head in there and sit down. And sometimes I'd have to say, I give out to God. When I get up, my bottom feels all wet. And I often say to God, you could have made it a little drier. But God always smiles at me and says, my bird of love, I know you don't mind the water of the earth or the moisture of the soil or the moisture of all the growth. And sometimes I would just stand there beside that tree there and just look in. And one part I love when I walk with God is walking through here. In the winter, so much disappears, and then so much comes back up again. And I just love that. And of course, at times, I just say to God, it's very muddy as it is today, but I have to smile. You have to watch your feet where you put them in case you fall or slip. And that makes me smile and laugh at God for bringing me. I just love to sometimes just to stand here and pray and talk to God. Sometimes I even meditate in prayer and I look down along the river and the sun always comes in just down there and shines. Just to be still here. This is one of my hiding places because I'm in the shelter. I'm in God's umbrella, I just say, when the leaves are out on the tree. If you look up there, it just looks like an umbrella. And I do thank God for all of that. And I do pray and ask for every soul on the prayer scroll as well, and everything that the world is crying out for peace and love, for that hope people are looking for. And that hope that nature is looking for. Sometimes it makes me very sad. But then sometimes when I'm praying, God would surround me with loads of angels, and they would distract me as they're doing now. And then just listening to the birds singing and hearing other sounds. So this is a place I become still and quiet. And you see the beautiful growth. I do ask God in my prayer, let the world shoot forth miracles, peace and love for all the things that we need to change so man can be a little better than we are. We don't have to be doing all those negative things. We shall be loving each other. Sometimes God says to me, Lorna, remind people as much as you can to love and care. Remind people to have compassion and hope. And remind them as well that they cannot love their neighbour or nature any more than they love themselves. And that's a message that Jesus had given long ago. But Jesus is God. God has so many names. And I love that. In one sense, I'm smiling. How can I say this? When we look at something like this beauty, we should be seeing God within it. We should see God's smile shining back at us. And I love the angels distracting me. They are so tall. They're as tall as the trees, and even taller. And I see all those employed angels being emptied out of the buckets. I call them buckets, these big, huge buckets, tumbling down to the earth to give us a helping hand. So I thank God for the unemployed angels. And remember, God is reminding me, Lorna, remember the unemployed angels are for everyone, regardless of religion or whether they believe in nothing, you know. I just think it's just beautiful just to be here. And then later on, as time passes, lots of other little flowers shoot up here. And sometimes I go under the wire just here. I know it's hard, I won't do it today. I go under the wire and I go up here and sit down on the bank as well. But maybe someday there will be no wire here. And again, the trees are so old and they're so beautiful. And the sound of the river. Sometimes I say to God, the angels of prayer are like a waterfall, and hearing the river as well, even though it's flowing down this way. The waterfall of the angels of prayer are going straight up to heaven. So maybe the next time you're out and you're near a river and you hear the sound, just think of the angels of prayer and just say, thank God, I thank nature. I want to be better. I want to love a little bit more. I want to show care and empathy. I don't want to judge anymore. All the gifts that you are searching for, you have them all. You can't, as I'm always saying to everyone, you can't go into a big store and buy them. You can't buy love. You can't buy hope. You can't buy empathy. You can't buy compassion. You can't buy even caring for someone. You have all those gifts already. You just have to let your soul be free. You as a human being, let that soul be free, that spark of light of God that dwells within you and out there. We can do better. I believe in you and I won't give up on you, and I love you. I don't care who you are, what you believe, or what you have done, good or bad in this world. I don't care. I love you, and I want to hug you and tell you I love you. One day I was walking along here, along the river, and Archangel Michael was with me. And Archangel Michael just said, Lorna, I have to go. And he just said, God is coming. And Archangel Michael just walked around that little bend there and disappeared. I didn't get a chance to say anything to Archangel Michael. And then the next minute, God walked through those trees there and came up to me. And he just said, as he reached out to take my hand, my bird of love, I see you're looking across at the forest, the far side of the river. And I said, yes, I love it. I was just so overwhelmed that God was standing here with me. And he just said, do everything possible to get all of that forest, the far side of the river. And I know it goes way down that way, and it goes way up that way. And it even goes back. And I know it's very wet, most of it. God just said, do your best to get it, Lorna. Because nature needs it. And when God said that nature needs it, I just looked at God. And I looked into his eyes, and it made my eyes water with tears and love. And all of a sudden, how would I say, we heard frogs. God must have got the frogs to sing, and the woodpecker. And God just said, Lorna, there's so many little creatures in there, as you call them, Lorna, critters of all kinds, that can't live anywhere else. And I just said to God, I don't know how that's going to happen, but you, God, will have to work a miracle in someone's heart for that to happen. So I said, God, I'm always telling people that somehow I have to get that forest because of what you said to me that day. And it's just beautiful here. Just feels so peaceful. And I know God is right here with me now. Because I feel his love wrapped around me, the only way I can say it. And wrapped around this place that God has chosen. We call it the sanctuary, but it's called Kilfane as well. And I love the way when I was told by a local man that the word Kilfane translated means sacred place. And I just have to smile at that. God chose here to be that beacon. This is all God's plan. And God is asking the world to respond, to allow it to grow. So that beacon of light that goes way up into the universe can have other beacons of light that go to different parts all around the planet. And I know they have to be connected to here. And that part I don't understand. As I say to everybody, I'm just a human being Um, I wish I could do all the things you can do, but so many of us were all given gifts, and they all can be so different. So when I look across the river, it reminds me of God's words, that somehow we're to get that forest, to save it for the future, for nature, because mankind needs it, and because God chose it, not me. I always say, this has nothing to do with me, God, this is all your plan. But one thing God always says to me, and that is, Lorna, the world has to respond, mankind has to respond. And I am amazed and flabbergasted, an Irish expression, that the world has already started to respond. That's why I'm standing here. And to me, that's incredible. But I am looking forward to the day that we get that forest and the bit of land that's attached to it as well. And I'm just listening to the stillness and the silence of God's voice. So I'm just going to say thank you and love you. Bye-bye.